It has been a while, hasn't it? I've been gone for, I think, over a year now, and that was mostly because of school, but also because it's been hard to find a Dota-esque game that I like to play that also has reasonable play session times. The nice thing about Monday Night Combat was it's usually quick, under 30 minutes on average games. I have been playing Smite. I still do play Smite. I did show a few games, but on average, doing a full conquest video can take a while, and it's very hard to find time to both, play enough games to find a good game, and then spend, close to an hour doing commentary for it. And that's why I was lucky enough to get into the Heroes of the Storm Tactical Alpha, Beta, whatever you want to call it, which sports similar playtimes to Monday Night Combat, which it definitely helps me out getting videos, and I'm going to try to do some more videos here over the summer. I make no guarantees about it for the long term, but hopefully I'll be able to put out a video, 3 times a week, hopefully, at the minimum. We'll see here, though. See how it pans out. And this is just a game with me playing Gazlowe here, and I will say right off the bat, if you're not familiar with Heroes of the Storm, it is very different from a lot of traditional games in the style. There is no item shop. There is experience is shared by the team, so there's no real... You as an individual player cannot break out and get like massive levels ahead of your team, so carrying is not really a thing you can do. You can't just farm on your own and try to get really big and just, carry the team. And instead of the items, there are talents, as you might have seen here a few times already, or actually it's level 1, so you probably saw at the beginning of the game. Every so often levels, like 3 or so levels, you get a choice of talents. They are fairly large changes to how your character plays. And for this video, I am doing a Merc Camp, or a sort of jungling style Gazlowe. And you'll see how effective that is in this game, and also the downsides of how it plays in this game. The main thing about this playstyle is that Gazlowe has really potent ability to... He has turrets, and he has an ult that also does extra damage to minion camps, or Merc camps, which are similar to jungle camps, but instead of just giving you experience and gold, they give you these additional minions to add to your lane wave. You'll see here shortly when I do the first camp. Basically, once you capture them, those minions will get back up to full health, and they will march out and join the lane, and just start helping push. And as Gazlowe, you can do that very, very early because of a few key talents here. The first talent I got was the boosted damage to TNT. It is basically a bomb you toss and has a 4-second cooldown. Very hard to use on enemy players, but on minion camps it's very potent because it stuns and does a lot of damage. With my first talent, it gets plus 10% more damage for each enemy it hits. So as you see up here, I've now gotten my talent for more damage to mercenaries. So I'm going to go up here to this Merc camp. I'm going to be able to clear it. This is a hard camp, however, with my talents I'll be able to clear out pretty easily. Gazlowe's first skill, his Q, is just basically little turrets. You see right there, they have decent range, and they basically auto-attack, as you can see. His W ability is as you saw there, was a beam. It has a slow cast time. As it charges up, though, it gets longer and wider, and does a lot of damage. So that's how I basically clear the camp out. I set down 2 turrets, do my charge of a bomb, and go to town. Gazlowe's passive is what's really key to this. Is really key to how you can do this really fast, because every time he destroys one of his turrets gets destroyed, it drops a little bolt, and it's called scrap. And basically, each time you grab scrap, he gets a little bit of mana back. I think a little bit of HP. It's not a lot, but the main thing is he gets over the next 3 seconds, he gets back 2 seconds off his cooldowns, which allows you to quickly get all your cooldowns back and go between camps really fast and efficiently, because you have your some mana back and some cooldowns back. And that comes really key into play later in the game when he has his ultimate ability, which has a much longer cooldown, but thanks to those scrap, he can quickly get it back and more efficiently take down camps. And the other part of his passive is that he can manually destroy his turrets when he's done with them, so he can get back that refund faster and not have to rely on them expiring or being killed. See right here, this is very risky. I'm going into the enemy side of the tower and getting their mercenary camps here, but it's just really effective because now they're charging down midway through the lane, and that's going to cause some disruption. It's going to force them to go off their fights and actually take care of that, or just let their stuff get taken down. Now, as I said before, Heroes does things a lot differently than other Dota-esque games, so there are different maps. There's not one regular tri-lane map. This map is, I forget what it's called, like Pirate Bay or something. Basically, every map has a gimmick. This map's gimmick is, as you see in the lower right-hand corner, there are coins. As you kill minions, as you see on my little character's health bar over his head, I have 4 coins. And basically, you can turn in coins in the center there. Everyone's fighting right now. That pirate up there, you can turn in coins. When you get 10, he'll fire off a number of cannonballs at various enemy structures. And as the game progresses, you turn more in, you are required to have more coins, so it basically escalates there. But it's very key to get these objectives. As you see here, a big weakness of this build is that while I'm off doing stuff, I'm not getting into team fights. Their enemy Gazlowe, which they have enemy Gazlowe, is basically, he's more of a team fight oriented. He's going to be there already, he's going to be helping contribute with turrets and all that. While I get there, I'm not set up at all. Gazlowe's really potent when he's set up. He has a lot of turrets up, he can do a lot of damage, and he can be very secure. It's very hard, once a Gazlowe set up his turrets, it's very hard to counter creep him. I've had a lot of games where I will sit on a creep camp, put up like 4 turrets, then I'll have like a Bawa or a Sharonde try to interrupt me, and I'll scare them off because you can't compete with all these turrets. And you see here, just gonna keep going, doing my thing here. Just gonna keep milling away at these minions. As you'll see in the game, we lose a lot of these cannonball fights, but our bases are fairly even in destruction because I have such a early domination of these merc camps. That really helps keep us pushed and compensate for the loss of the objective. I'm not saying it's more effective. I think, in general, if you're a new player, you should be helping your team with the objective. But for me, I just wanted to play a game where I see how this works, where I pretty much play solo and do the whole merc camp thing. I'll say on the whole, it's probably not as effective as it could be just by doing this Gazlowe doing helping with team fights, but if you find a middle ground, sort of some of the team fights, when you become team fights and all that, it probably works a little better. The problem is the pub game, it's hard to communicate, and sort of when they're all going towards the team's objectives and all that. So you got to sort of balance it out. It's kind of hard to do in a pub game, but it can be effective if you do it properly. And here it's just a lot of, like I said, this objective, it's really going to be a lot of fighting here now. If you die with the coins, you drop the coins, you might have seen that earlier, so it's very important also not to die. And losing this team fight here would be really, really bad because if you look over there, their enemies have like 8 set coins apiece, so it's important that we do not let this objective go. Which is unfortunate for me because I hit level 10 and I have my ult. Gazlowe, in this game, you can choose from 2 ults. Gazlowe's first ult is a sort of black hole. It sucks people in towards a central point, which is really good in team fights, and the enemy Gazlowe gets that and uses it to great effect. I chose the one where basically Gazlowe gets a buff that gives him increased damage against mercs, minions, and structures, which is very vital towards one of the sort of merc camp pushing build. Another talent I picked that was also pretty potent for this build is I have made when I capture merc camps, they are stronger by like, I want to say 50%, maybe 30%, I forget how much exactly. But you see here, I'm going to set up my stuff. I'm low on mana here, but at this point I'm level 11, so I can take these camps down much quicker, just 2. And what I will do is I will take these down, destroy my cannons back for a little mana back, and then I will quickly go to, I think I go either I back or I go to a well here, you'll see in a second here. But yeah, those coins are for this map only. Other maps, menu camps don't drop the coins. No, see, there are basically you have 2 layers. You have 2 little mini towns in each lane, and those lanes have some towers. They have a fort, which basically a fort is basically a bigger tower. And then you have wells. Wells basically give you a modest heal over time and mana restoration over time. And those are useful. They're on a long cooldown, but they're useful to get back in the fight quickly without having to go back to your base. But ours have already been destroyed, and you see there, it's disruptive. If you destroy the enemy moon wells, or whatever they're called, wells, hero wells, I'm not sure what they're called in this game, they're like moon wells from Warcraft 3. But if you destroy them, you sort of screw your opponent's plans so they can't, regenerate and get back in the field as fast. Now, this is the Grave Golem. He's the equivalent of the Baron in League of Legends, the Fire Giant in Smite, and what's his name, Roshan, I think, in Dota 2. He's the big, singular guy, and as the as Gazlowe, I can solo him. The trick to doing it is to get that ult that I just used, the one that increases your damage against mercs. Spread out your cannons so they're not in range of his AoE. He does a stun AoE. Then you basically pop your ult and you just weave in and out of his stun when he does it and burn him down. It's not. It can, at 10 it can get a little dicey. I was think at 12 or 13 of that I did that, so it's much easier. But at 10, very few players expect it to happen. And it's very, if you know what you're doing, you can pull it off. And it's a very good way to get an easy start. But if you look at this, I think we've lost 2 cannons already, and we have, let's see here, we've lost 1 town, lost 2 towns, and they've lost 1. So we're a little behind, but by doing that, we have managed to really push them in and compensate for that. Now they got 3rd. So you see here the inherent weakness of the build is that you're not in team fights, meaning you're losing objectives more often, which I think makes it rough on your team. So you sort of need a team that you sort of need to go in and say, okay, I'm going to do this. You guys need to be aware that you'll be outnumbered in team fights, so don't try to force team fights. Just keep them spread out to your advantage, so you can keep them at arm's length. To make matters worse, we have a Murky on our team, and Murky is sort of a similar deal to Gazlowe. He does not there is team fight Murky, but team fight specialty is sneaking into the enemy base and destroying it, meaning our team's even more alone. So this is kind of a lesson in knowing your team comp, because if you don't know your team comp, you're just going to have a really, really rough time being all disorganized and all that. And as we see here, we basically have their 5-man team to our 3-man fight team. It's not good. So here I figure out that it's probably going to be all the creep camps are taken, so I'm going to try to use damage to their base and really just push them with minions. It's also, generally speaking, not enough just to grab the camps. You also have to push with them, which is again why this is so difficult to do with a pub, because you need to tell people, hey, I got this camp. Which I'll probably push with it, or just be aware that it's coming up. And at this point, we have lost all 3 of our first line of towns. They've lost a tier 2 town, so I think, looking at that here, yeah, they've lost a tier 2 town, and they might lose another here shortly. I can't look at the bottom of the mini-map. It looks like, they take care of it, I think, for the most part, but it is an effective way to sort of offset the disadvantage of losing those objectives, but I don't think it's enough. But it is a way to do things, and it's not always, you don't always have to, objectives first and foremost. As you see there, I died because, again, it's very hard to escape if you're caught off guard like that. Here I can clear out minions really fast, though, with my bombs and my stuff, because I have a ton of NPC killing stuff here, so I'm very good at pushing, but I'm not very good at team fights like the other guys. That's probably going to cost us. I should have probably realized that the Murky's going to be doing Murky stuff, and I need to not be doing my own thing here. But really just go around when you go kill creeps. You're basically jungling for the most part. Every camp has its timer and all that, so you just know they're up and all that. The biggest problem here is that eventually the other enemy team's going to catch wise what I'm doing, and they're going to creep. Like I said before, it's very hard to kill and entrench Gazlowe one-on-one. Once he's got 3 or 2 or 3 turrets set up, you're not going to be able to solo him. He's going to just retreat to his turrets every time and zone you out with his bombs. But if you go into the team, you're going to have no problem. And you'll be able to kill them real fast, as it happens to be basically. They go into the team. You see here, the Gazlowe ult really useful in sort of pulling me out of my position there. And despite my stuff, this Tyrael is really good at sticking to me, and he's been killing me all game so far. I'm getting no peels here. I'm just gonna die. And it happens. He's gonna clean up things. So their Tyrael's doing the ball. And you see there, because we died, we lost our coins. He's gonna pick them up, and they'll probably turn them in. We'll get yet another objective. So you see coins everywhere. As we look at the scoreboard here, seeing what's going on, because of the way the game works, when you do jungling like that, your score is not going to look good at all. You are doing no damage to enemies, no damage to their buildings, so you're kind of not looking so hot, but I have been contributing a lot to the team in terms of experience and all that. See, there are more of the minions going out attacking. And they're actually pushed up really far, so the game's actually a lot. Look at this right now. We have three tier 2 towns still up. They've lost one, and they're about to lose another one. So we're actually not as far off as you think. It's not as bad. I see here. I'm going to try to solo golem. That'll be a really big coup for us if they can tie up the enemy team with little fights here, little skirmishes, without getting too deep into it. I get paired off. The problem is they catch on, they jump me here. But you'll see here just how powerful. Once you're high enough level, you'll see how potent it is. You can do this. Set up the turrets. I don't waste so much time setting up my turrets here because at this point I know I can kill him pretty easily. I want to kill him as fast as possible. So here I go in, weave out of the stun. You see right there, you want to keep your turrets out of his stun radius generally because he can one-hit shot it. Grab my scrap. But enemy team comes. See, I almost had him killed. I think I get the kill here though. I think I killed him, which I get experience for. But they might. I don't know if more experience is shared between teams or not. It's kind of weird. But the problem with the game is, it doesn't matter who gets the kill. The problem is who controls the little point afterwards. You see there's a little bar showing who controls it. So yeah, I'm a little sore at that point because they didn't give me a sort of. I looked at my mini map. I did not really see anyone coming towards me at that point. So I thought I had him to myself. I did not. That's gonna really this is the point where we lose the game for the most part. It's gonna drag out here for a little bit longer. I will say that unlike most games, Heroes has a pretty substantial comeback mechanic. I've seen games lost where you have managed to come back pretty handily. So one important thing about Heroes and Storm is to not give up. You can come back with good team fights and good map control. The levels in the game generally do not get too distanced. I've seen mostly usually like a 3-level gap, which is pretty substantial, but not insurmountable. You have to just stay cool and communicate with your team and all that stuff. At this point, I am just trying to desperately get more camps wherever I can get them. These easy camps are still effective. They outrange the towers, so they can still do damage on their own. So at this point, I'm pretty fast. I probably should have used my ult here. It's got a long cooldown, but it does just take down camps faster. Just get those camps because, as you see down there, their whole team's there. They're taking camps down as a group, and it makes it a lot easier. However, I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to go in turning coins. Unfortunately, enemy Gazlowe is pretty slick. He has his own turret, but I will use my turret to distract his and go ahead and turn some coins to get our first and only cannonball in this game. So at this point, they have, I think, they might still have 2 tier 2 towns. I can't tell at this point. And we have 2 as well. It's fairly close. I'd say they have the edge, if I had to guess, at this point in the game. We might gain a slight edge here just because with the cannon, but it's our only cannon for the game, so it's going to be kind of rough. And I kind of screwed up here. It was late when I played this game. I was not aware that we had nobody at our base and packet stuff. So maybe got kind of screwed with me. Although the Nova wasn't really doing that well this game. I think Nova's one of the best assassins in the game, and it's hard to say. I can't be too harsh because I was sort of leaving them high and dry a lot of the fights. At this point, though, we're pretty desperate to do something. They got another cannon in, so at this point, we're pretty much screwed. Once our towns are all destroyed, the cannon will aim for our core, and you see here our core slowly going down in HP. We have managed to damage their core, so like I said, it wasn't as far as you thought. But at this point, they're coming in as a group. That was Sarande's ult, which cloaks their group. And that basically screws us. They basically countered them with me, so at this point, my effectiveness is going down to 0. And at this point, I think the game's going to start wrapping up here shortly, because Murky, like I said, he's trying to backdoor them, but it's just very hard. But like I said, the game is closer than you expect for a team who lost so many objectives as that. It just shows you how powerful it can be to grab those Merc camps. And a lot of maps, grabbing the Merc camps can be a good way to offset losses like that, particularly like Haunted Mines and other such maps. But here, they're at this point we're all just covered in, and they're just moving down here. And just moving down. There it goes. Yep, there it goes. So that is trying to kill Smirk camps with Gazlowe. Like I said, I probably should have been more aware of my team comp, and done my talents more accordingly rather than going my own path. Just saying I'm going to do this and nothing but that. But it was I still did decent, I think. So hopefully I'll have more videos out here in the future. As you see here, got my quest completed. Leveling up a little bit. That's just how the game goes. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of good stats post-game, but like I said, you get takedowns and deaths, that's about it, your mechanics. But I hope you all enjoyed that. If you like these videos, let me know. I will try to do more of them as I play them. They're pretty easy to bang out here. That's about it. I'll see you all later.